Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back to the REwilding challenge. Today is the 11th challenge day, and the challenge for today is COMMUNE. I'm walking around the property right now of my family's fishing resort in Dent, Minnesota, where in August I'll be hosting a retreat, August 12th to the 15th. There are 7 spots left is all. There's one of our cabins. That is one of the places that folks who come to the retreat in August will be staying. And I introduced today's challenge by talking about the fact that I'm walking around our resort because today is Saturday. Today is changeover day. Today, everyone who was at the resort for the last week, dozens and dozens and dozens of folks, most of them related. One big family was here. I think it was their 47th year coming to our resort. We've owned it for 20 of those years. But today is the day. Saturday mornings is when everyone from the last week leaves. And Lynn, my bonus mom, Jaden, my son, and Joy, my daughter, and folks from the area all gather together. We commune in order to reset the whole resort and all 14-ish cabins so that dozens and dozens and dozens of other people can come for the week coming up so that they can come commune with their family and their friends. So day 11, COMMUNE. Whether we are awake to it or not, as humans, I am convinced that we are communal creatures. You may have heard that saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Said differently, your habits reflect the company that you keep. Something that I've noticed is that while humans are an ultrasocial species, I did not come up with that term, ultrasocial species, that's a line from the origins and psychology of human cooperation. I agree with it. And I've noticed that modern humans tend to identify more with the experience of I am separate than I am connected. And that is a negative stressor. If you have participated in any of the wellness workshops that I've led the last few months on decreasing inflammation or on intermittent fasting, you have heard me talk about negative stressors versus positive stressors. And we're going to be exploring them this coming Tuesday at the Nature Reconnection Microbiome Regeneration Workshop. Hey, there's another one of our cabins where folks who come to the retreat in August will be staying. That is cabin 10, the John Wayne cabin. Decorated with all sorts of John Wayne stuff. My dad loved John Wayne. So, it is a negative stressor in our lives to have this belief and to function from a space of I'm separate rather than I am connected. The fact is, going it alone is a losing strategy. It's a losing strategy to go it alone. You know the difference between illness and wellness? Actually, if you have something to write with, something to write on right now, I invite you to write down the words illness and wellness and notice what the difference is. I'm going to turn around. This is the entrance to Cozy Cove. A lot of people coming in right now, putting in their boats for the week. All right, so what's the difference between illness and wellness? Well, illness begins with the letter I, and wellness begins with the letters W-E. After after that, after the I and after the WE, those two words are spelled the exact same way, which I find so fascinating. A healthy person is more of a we than an I. There's a gentleman, you might have heard of him, Dr. Dan Siegel. He is a psychiatry professor at UCLA. He's written a ton of best-selling books like The Whole Brain Child and How to Do More in Less Time. Yeah, that guy. Well, he explains that the whole view of a separate self is a toxic lie. He says that the view of having a separate self, of being a separate self, is a toxic lie. This is a clinical professor at UCLA saying that. He also talks about how it is a built-in trauma. It's a built-in trauma to being a member of our modern culture. Meaning the whole belief that you are separate, that you don't belong, that you're not connected, is a built-in trauma to being a member of our modern society. And then it's simply wrong. Simply wrong. Clinical professor at UCLA. There's another researcher, Dr. Mate. I love that his last name is Mate. He has pointed out that individuation comes second to the need to attach. That attachment is the womb of maturation. Attachment is the womb of maturation. So when I read these thought leaders, their work, when I read their work, I'm reminded of the members of the different courses and communities that I've led throughout the years. Right now, the Metamorphosis Collective. Attachment and individuation. Those are the pillars that your lifestyle stands on. And so today, day 11, Commune, I am challenging myself, and I'm challenging everyone else who listens to this recording to shift your focus from the belief I am separate toward the belief I am connected. The practice of engaging a current community oriented toward thrive, if you're a part of one, or generating your next community if you're not a part of one, like that is what the Day 11 Commune Challenge is all about. They're engaging a current community that you are a part of, or taking the next step toward generating one if you're not. And that brings me to an important point, which I alluded to earlier. Going it alone is a losing strategy. Said that. Next part of that is hanging with the wrong crowd. Am I right? Am I right? Like, did your parents ever express concern about who you were hanging out with? Have you ever expressed concern about who your child or your niece or nephew or grandchild or godchild, like who they were hanging out with? Right? I know people express concern about, well, we won't go there. You get my drift, right? And so herein lies a core issue, and one that I am so versed in. And the issue is, what if the people that you are currently connected to, be it your DNA, be it your fam, or be it your forever besties, like, what if they're playing a role in the degenerative habits of accelerated aging for you? Right? What if the company that you keep is keeping you inflamed? It's leading you to disease, right? Our habits are not our own. Our lifestyle or day-to-day behaviors, they're cultural, right? They're cultural. What do you do? What do you do when you're hanging out with people who overeat or who snack or whatever, right? Like you're more likely to overeat or to snack. I sure am. Being here at Cozy Cove, surrounded by people who are on vacation, I am more likely to overeat. I'm more likely to snack. I'm more likely to stay up later. And then what do you do when you're hanging out with people who are active and people who go to bed early? Like, do you become more active? Do you perhaps go to bed a little earlier? I tell you what, it's a whole lot easier to go to bed early and wake up early and do my morning ritual of chanting and meditation and yoga and breath work when I was at an ashram in India where everyone else was doing it than at the family fishing resort, right? All right, so now going a level deeper in this, not only are our habits communal, we share food. We share food, meaning who we break bread with determines our gut bacteria, determines our microbiome. Again, this Tuesday, I'm doing a talk specifically on microbiome, which is the indicator of whether we are sick, whether we are diseased, whether we are healthy. The indicator is your microbiome. So if you haven't registered for that yet, it's $9, y'all. Go to my website, register for it. It's Tuesday. You can join me live, 9 a.m. or 6 p.m. Pick one. And everyone who registers gets a recording of it. Check out that. Whole lot of nutrients in that thistle. So, microbiome. Who we break bread with determines our microbiome, which is why I created the Metamorphosis Collective. Right? The Metamorphosis Collective is a virtual group of folks from all over the country. It's a container for people to be supported and give support, to commune for a 1-year journey, a transformation from health issues to feeling great. The core strategy for new members is for them to join the collective, where existing members who are already progressing with core circadian habits, can support them to make fast progress in a container that reinforces their transformation. That was a whole lot of words. Essentially what I'm saying is, it's okay. It's okay to be in community with, to commune with folks who have degenerative habits. You just better make sure that you are also communing with folks who have life-giving habits. I needed that. So I set up the Metamorphosis Collective. I've been at this for a while, and I've learned that better habits rely on groups who have regained their connection to ancient wisdom. Better habits, they rely on communing with people who are open to wisdom sourced from beyond the mainstream, because our mainstream modern culture is sick. So, if you're not communing with people who are authentically joyful and at peace and have great vision for their future, if you're not communing with people who are aligned to circadian rhythm, I invite you to first come to the microbiome workshop on Tuesday, and secondly, reach out to me and let's have a conversation, and let's see where you're at and where you want to be, because I could probably help connect you to community, whether that is the Metamorphosis Collective, or I can help you figure out the right community for you. One more thing to consider here, okay? It's through your culture that you inherit habits, and then, right, you pass those on to your offspring. So what is at stake as we become increasingly isolated from one another? As people become like increasingly attached to screens, consider what's at stake, right? What happens also when we lose alignment with circadian rhythm? Like, I can tell you, and I'll bet you have a real life example too, right? Our kiddos become chronic. Kids start experiencing chronic symptoms, and that is crazy. It's getting to the point now where kids are born chronic. They're born with chronic symptoms. Crazy. And avoidable and reversible, right? So now is the time. Now is the time for me. Now is the time for you to shift from distress to eustress. From negative stressors to positive stressors. From degeneration to life. And we can do that by up-leveling our relationships. One more thing that I've learned is that when someone wants to shift their habits so that they feel a whole lot better, so that they enjoy life more, they pass that on to the next generation. And in doing so, they're going to go farther and deeper, faster and more easily if they find ways to connect with people who exude the benefits of smarter habits and people who are aimed in that direction. All right. So again, for everything, there's a season. For everything, there's a season. As you become a part of a culture, as you commune with people, that helps you to feel great and shares your desire for connection and vitality and flow and fullness of life, things will change for the better. So, today's challenge, Commune, is all about becoming a more empowered individual. And what do I mean by an empowered individual? It's one who, while they live within the inherited culture of our times, they're also connecting with communities, connecting with ideas and habits that make them smarter and less isolated and less subject to dis-ease, less subject to disease, right? The good, great news is that, again, parallel cultures do exist. Parallel cultures do exist. They have different values. The Metamorphosis Collective that I lead has different values than our modern American society. We have different habits than the dominant culture. I'll give you a look at the lake. More cabins. Regenerative cultures do coexist within the larger degenerative culture. So today, You'll find people who are actively progressing toward and have stabilized the habits that you want. Even habits that seem way out of reach for you right now. Like, commune with a parallel culture that values the empowered individual and promotes anti-inflammatory habits. If you don't know where to start, contact me. Even if you do know where to start, contact me. Come to the microbiome talk on Tuesday. Grab one of the 7 spots that's left for the Cultivating an Enchanted Life retreat here at Cozy Cove Resort, August 12th to the 15th. Time for me to go commune. Much love. Peace.